Hey guys, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. So in my last video, I said that I was actually going to be talking about the other miracle boxes, specifically the Greek miracle box. So we know that there are other miraculouses in the world. It's been confirmed by Thomas Ostruck and a few other people that there are more miraculous. Besides besides the 19 that we already have, right? Yeah, 19. So we're going to be talking about what I think is most likely going to happen with the Greek one. Now, a few things of note is that some of these guys aren't really obvious what their powers will be, but some of them actually could be quite interesting. Um, Now, obviously, we can't say with absolute certainty that any of these will be easy to deal with. It's possible that some of them could just have like a simple jumping power or some other thing like that. The list of powers is actually a lot harder to deal with than you would think. Um, I've said before that a lot of the miraculouses are actually really hard to figure out. And probably the main reason for that is because of the fact that we don't know if there are more miraculouses that or what they will be. But I think that these 12 zodiacs would actually be really helpful in the long run. And we can actually determine that a few other people could very easily be getting a miraculous, such as Undine, the twins, maybe a few other characters. Um, I mean, I could even see Anansi eventually getting a miraculous, or Chris, Nino's brother. Each of these miraculouses could be extremely cool, and I don't know if they are actually thinking of right now of what these extra miraculouses will be, but this seems like it would be the best option. The main reason I want to say this is because of the fact that we have the zodiac. Um, Obviously, the Greek zodiac is very different from the Chinese zodiac, but because of the fact that the Chinese zodiac is the basis for the first miracle box, I think that it would actually make a lot of sense to look at Greek culture and probably Roman culture as well, so be aware of that, because of the fact that these two cultures have actually impacted a lot of the European, African, and Middle East region. These things are huge for them. And even over here in America, because of the fact that most of us come from those European countries. And this came about because of the fact that we had the Roman Empire. So, absolutely, I think that this could be a very high probability. The Chinese zodiac and the Chinese culture that is behind the miracle box is widespread throughout Asia, while this is widespread here in Europe. Well, not here in Europe, but in Europe and over here in America. And it could easily be something similar with a third miracle box that originated in the Americas. However, there's not much that I know about, or many of us know about, for the for what would be the equivalent to an American zodiac, or really any of the American deities that we would see as, oh yeah, that could definitely become a miracle box. Now, a few things to note is that having these be the 12 the 12 zodiac miraculouses means that we can actually narrow down who some of the miraculous users are that we still don't know who exactly they are. Now, there have been a few major players that we know are miraculous users. They actually list off a whole bunch in some of the comics, as well as in a few of the shows, a few of the episodes of the shows. They show pictures of previous Miraculous holders. So the fact that these guys could be Miraculous holders is looking pretty high, especially for someone like Hercules, um, or Heracles, or whatever you want to say, as well as a few other characters. Now, obviously, we don't have anyone, we don't know who the other 7 Miraculous characters could be, but I think that looking at the Zodiac would actually be the best option to start it off. So, what are the Miraculous's powers most likely going to be? A few things of note is definitely that Aries and Taurus would both most likely be very strength based. Figuring out exactly what they could be is kind of challenging, but I would like to say that Aries would probably be something about movement, while Taurus would be something along the lines of strength based. Maybe this used to be Hercules' power or something like that, but I actually think that it would make more sense for that to be Leo, but we'll get into that one in a little bit. So both of those could very easily be strength based, and we could see some of these characters show up eventually. Next up is Gemini. Now, Gemini is the twins. And I actually want to talk about Pisces with this one because of the fact that both of them are kind of similar. Gemini is the twins, while Pisces is the twin fish. Now, obviously, we can't expect there to be both of these to have the exact same power because that would be stupid. But what I could see happening is that Gemini can create clones, and also Pisces could as well, and they work together to accomplish whatever their goal is. And both versions are actually controlled by one mind. And it would actually be kind of a good thing to have 2 of these, because that way we can actually 2 Miraculouses like this, where Gemini and Pisces, because we do have 2 characters, the twins, that could easily take up these roles and become really good Miraculous holders. So, well, when they get older, obviously. So, seeing that Gemini and Pisces are probably those 2, we can now move on to Cancer, or the Crab Miraculous. Now, obviously, crabs are kind of a hard thing to really work with. They're kind of a boring creature, but what I could see is that they may have the second chance ability, kind of like how the snake has it. For the snake, I assume that the reason for it is because of the fact that when you're doing your second chance, you're shedding your skin to reverse time. But for Cancer, because of the fact that crabs can regrow their claws, that would be part of the whole reason of second chance. For it to be basically a reset, just like the snake Miraculous. Maybe a few different changes, but definitely something to at least think about. Next up is Leo the Lion. Now, lions are often thought of as being prideful, as being strong, but they're also highly significant to the sun. Now, I've said before that I could see that the chicken Miraculous could be something along the lines of the fact that they can change the area around them to be either to switch to whatever time of day it isn't. So if it's in the middle of the daytime, they can switch it to nighttime, or if it's in the middle of the night, they can switch it to daytime. And this would actually make sense, as this would be something similar that the Leo could do, because of the fact that both the lion and the chicken are both highly important to the idea of daytime. So definitely something to just think about, and it would be helpful because the fact that often villains who come about at night are more powerful at night, and it would be helpful to suddenly blind them by the power by using the sunlight, and well, yeah, easier to take down the villain. Virgo is the maid-ish. Virgo's hard to really figure out what exactly she would do. Um, I could see a few things eventually, but honestly, there's not enough information that I know about the whole Virgo zodiac, so yeah, I can't really say for certain what the miraculous power would be for this. But I can say with some certainty what Libra and the others will be. So, Libra's power is a bit special because it is going to be less based on the idea of the scale, but rather the idea of judging. Mostly because if you know about anything that is about Lady Justice, you always know that she is blind and she carries a scale. Well, an old-timey scale. Meaning that Libra could definitely be something about judgment. And what it could be is that it might remove it may deal with the sins that the person has done. It might actually be something that would work well for the character from Backwater. She could get this miraculous and be able to maybe she can revert time back to before they made their whoever made their mistake or something like that. I don't know exactly, but we'll see what happens. It's definitely an interesting ability that is kind of hard to deal with. Next up, though, is Scorpio, which I could see this being very similar to the Be Miraculous because of the fact that the things that we always think of when we think scorpions is the idea of them stinging you. So a paralyzing spell, a poison sting, something like that would make a lot of sense for a Scorpion Miraculous. Next up is Sagittarius, which even though a lot of times we see Sagittarius as a centaur or something like that, Sagittarius's main thing is that he's an archer. So I could see something along the lines of the power being similar to the Horse Miraculous, but I think where he can teleport. But I think that the real thing for that would make the most sense is actually sharpshooting, being able to spot the target and always hit them, even if they are really far away or something like that. That would be a reasonable power for Sagittarius because he's the archer. Next up is Capricorn, the sea goat, which I'm not certain, actually. I have no idea what Capricorn's powers would be. I would love to see something along the lines of being able to run on water or something like that. But in all honesty, I have no idea what the powers could be. Maybe some jumping ability, maybe some teleportation ability. But I honestly have no idea what the power could be. And I have no idea. But next up, Aquarius. Oh boy, Aquarius. Aquarius's powers are going to be very similar to Undine's powers when she became, when she got her, whatever, I don't remember what the name of the person was. But basically, they could flood the entire world and just be like, oh, yeah, flood, boom, the entire world's covered in water. And then they can also obviously swim really fast. They don't need to have that magic rune, which is something that I want to talk about. I think that before long, we are going to be getting Miraculouses for every single one of them that has some power that is somewhat related to whatever one miraculous holder of each person will have the abilities that the magic runes give. So Aquarius would probably be something along the lines of the fact that they can swim without having much difficulty. Um, no difficulty at all. And it could also happen with Pisces. Figuring out which one it's going to be for the 25 for the other 19, I mean, is a bit harder to do, but it's definitely something to think about. And it would also make sense for there to be someone who can fly without using their powers, and someone who can skate on ice, and whatever the other, however many there, the other four, because we've only gotten 3 out of the 7, I believe, that there were. So definitely something to just be aware of. And I've already talked about Pisces. So those are the 12 Greek zodiacs. Do I think that we will be getting these Miraculouses very soon? Not necessarily. I could see maybe 1 or 2 suddenly show up, like maybe I actually think that this would be kind of cool to see. Felix comes in with a Miraculous that's similar to the Cat Miraculous. It would be a good way to introduce the other Miraculouses without necessarily spoiling that, yeah, there actually are other Miraculouses. Just be aware of that. And then, throughout Season 4 and 5, we can find out more and more about these Miraculouses. And maybe even in future seasons, realizing that, oh wow, there's actually a ton that could actually help us out with not only Hawkmoth, but all of the future villains that we're going to have to deal with. Could you imagine being able to deal with those invaders with all of these Miraculouses? It would be insane. And it would actually be helpful if Felix is the one to show them, because then they can actually ask Master Fu if he knows anything before things get out of hand. So, I don't know. The other possibility of when this could be revealed is actually in Feast, because I think that in Feast, we know that there are that there aren't any other Guardians of the Miraculouses, as far as we know. But the thing is that it specifically says that it's someone coming back from Master Fu's past, which we do know could very easily be someone from the Nazi people, but it could also be a few other people, perhaps 2 of the 2 other miraculous guardians, one for, of course, the Greek Miraculouses, and one for the Americans, which absolutely would be fantastic. So, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you to Jeremiah Ortiz for reminding me that this is actually something that I wanted to talk about for a while. And, yeah, if you guys have any theories that you guys want me to talk about, then please leave them down in the comments. I love to hear you guys' theories. And also, if you guys love this video or you enjoyed it, please leave a like. And also, if you're new, please subscribe and ring the notification bell. We do theories about Miraculous and anime all the time, so hopefully you guys will enjoy this. But anyways, guys, I have been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But also check out my links down in the description.